So I hadn't played D&D since the first time I'd ever played, and it wasn't exactly a positive experience. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to play again. I'd moved in with my best friend at the time. There had been a series of parties and a bunch of other stuff that had wrangled together a weird ragtag band of misfits and not so great people. But we all had a thing in common. Most of us at the time played Magic the Gathering. There was a weekly game night we'd play at a place called the Lion's Den, if I remember right, where a player, who I'm going to call Alex, it might actually be his name, but I don't remember for sure. He offered to run a 3.5 game for my best friend, myself, and two others. We, wanting to have some fun, said, sure, why not? We didn't really think about much other than that. We all rolled up our characters. I rolled up a ninja in 3.5e because I thought ninjas were cool. Another player who we'll just call the other ninja rolled a ninja because he found out you could do that. We had a druid run by my best friend, and we had a necromancer. Now, two of the players, the other ninja and the necromancer, arrived drunk. Like, not absolutely gone drunk, but pretty far out there. So off to a great start. We get into a fight right away. We told we've been sent to this castle to retrieve some sort of MacGuffin. I think it was a magical dagger. We entered the building and undead immediately beset upon all of us. So we fought them away, and we had a lot of fun. I got to try being creative and using like fulcrums on arrows to twist off zombie heads. It was a good time. I was actually having fun, mechanically speaking, for the first time ever in D&D. It was pretty cool. That said, the other ninja, every single time anything happened ever, the DM would begin describing something and he would yell, "I punch it," and he would throw a d20 at the table. This eventually was played for comedy, but I could tell the DM was a little frustrated with this. So he started punching walls and doors and other things that the DM was trying to describe and giving himself light amounts of damage. The necromancer was really obsessed with the idea of the insanity mechanic that the necromancers had back then. So he was rolling off of his insanity table like a excited guy. And he was getting all sorts of hijinks. He was becoming paranoid, he was becoming violent, etc. This is important for later. We progressed through an area, we fight some ghosts that were protecting the dagger we were looking for, but we got it. And after we fought them, we found a wolf in the dungeon. The wolf itself was not immediately hostile, but was not exactly friendly either. So our druid decided that they would cast Speak with Animals and start talking to the dog. They have a back and forth where you ask the dog some questions. They're like, "I don't know if I can trust you." The dog gave some vague answers about some suspicious things that were happening in the area. And then the druid asked the dog if they were thirsty. Now, this probably wouldn't be played this way nowadays, and I honestly question the DM's judgment ultimately, but the dog said yes. In fact, they could go for a drink. So the druid said the phrase, "I cast Create Water on the dog." The DM got them to roll, because in 3.5e you wouldn't casting a spell, rolled to see how much water you created. The druid rolled a nat 20, creating, I think it was 60 gallons of water instantly in that space inside the dog's open mouth. So the DM ruled that the dog exploded. Yeah, the dog exploded. The necromancer, rolling insanity, began flopping around inside the pool of H2O and viscera, began to hallucinate that I believe it's the next creature they saw was like their deity. So they began worshiping our druid as some sort of god of death and attempting to, let's say, get intimate with them. I can't remember how we cut that short. We did. We had to get past it. But we escaped that scenario with reckless abandon, whereupon we found two travelers hidden in a side room in the dungeon who offered us to stay with them. We treated them with suspicion, but we slept there anyways, because, you know, sometimes you ask yourself, do you want to play D&D or not? We're like, okay, yeah, let's sleep with these guys. It'll be fine. So they attacked us. They were werewolves, and we killed them in the face with stuff. and they died, and it was great. And then it wasn't great. We killed them in the face and they died, and then the session was over. We concluded there. So Alex, now excited to have played with us, informed a few of us that we were all in fact now lycanthropes, infected by the bites of the werewolves that we had just murdered. I didn't super care at this point and was pretty confident we weren't going to play again, and I was right. We went our separate ways, and I lost touch with most of these people over the next few years. Not entirely against my will. What really keeps the whole thing in my memory the most, though, was Alex, the dungeon master. He DM'd me on Facebook at the time. Facebook wasn't just like a boomer website just yet. Now, double check a price here. So, about a year before, I think it was about a year ago, at the time, the PlayStation 3 had just launched. Its current retail price around the time was about $600. Excited to possibly play again, Alex DM'd me on Facebook saying he was glad that we all liked his cat. His cat was named Waffles. I loved his cat. But, he then quickly moved on to, hey, my birthday's coming up, and I would really like a PlayStation 3. Now, at this time, and he knew I was a 18, maybe 17 or 8, no, not even, what, it's 2000, I'm like 17, working at McDonald's, making minimum wage in Canada. And this guy's just like, yeah, you should buy me a PlayStation 3. And I was like, oh, I'll think about it. Ooh-wee. I don't think I ever spoke to Alex again after that. It was a very strange experience, and I'm sure Alex meant well, but that was he came on strong. So what was your favorite part of the story? Mine was the cat. I liked Waffles. Waffles rocks. If you like Waffles, you should give me a follow. I'm doing it. I'm doing the YouTube thing. I'm doing it. Are you proud of me, Mom? Are you proud of me? Ah!